Long ago, before cities rose and cars filled the roads, before the world was divided by borders and maps, there was a time when the earth was still young, when the trees whispered secrets, rivers carried messages, and drums were the heartbeat of the people. Among all the drums in all the villages, there was one that was unlike any other. It was called the talking drum. This was no ordinary drum, oh no. When struck by gentle hands, it could speak in the voices of men, women, and even the spirits. When beaten in anger, it could summon storms, and when played with love, it could bring peace between enemies. But such power is never left untested. In a small village at the edge of the great forest lived a boy named Kweku. He was poor, the son of a hunter who had vanished years ago, and his mother struggled to feed him. But Kweku had one gift. He listened. While other children laughed and played, Kweku listened to the wind in the grass, the whispers of the fire, and the rhythms of the drum whenever the elders played at night. One evening, while following the sound of crickets into the forest, Kweku stumbled upon an old tree, wide and tall, with roots as thick as houses. And there, leaning against the roots, was a drum unlike any he had ever seen. Against the roots was a drum unlike any he had ever seen. Its body was carved with faces of animals, lion, tortoise, eagle, and serpent. Its skin glowed faintly in the moonlight, as if alive. And then the drum spoke. "Child," it said in a deep, rolling voice, "you have ears that hear. Will you be my drummer?" Kweku trembled. "A drum that speaks," he whispered. "Yes," the drum replied, "and a drum that needs a friend." The drum taught Kweku rhythms, not just rhythms of music, but rhythms of life. One beat could call the birds, another could make trees sway in open paths, a third could summon rain, and a secret rhythm, known only to the spirits, could call forth truth from any liar. Kweku practiced in secret. He drummed with care, and the forest became his friend. A word soon spread in the village. Strange things were happening. Rain fell on Kweku's farm alone. When the chief's daughter was bitten by a snake, it was Kweku's drumming that drew out the venom. When two brothers quarreled, Kweku's rhythm soothed them into peace. The villagers began to whisper, "Is the boy blessed or cursed?" Now, in that village was a chief named Abakanto, a man who loved power more than justice. When he heard of Kweku's drum, jealousy burned in his chest. "How can a poor boy be more powerful than I?" he growled. "Bring me the drum." His guards went to seize Kweku, but the boy played a rhythm of hiding, and the forest swallowed him up. The chief grew angry. "Very well," he said, "if the boy will not come to me, I will take from him. At the next moon festival, I shall challenge him before all the people." The moon festival arrived, drums thundered, and fires lit the night. The chief stood proudly, adorned in gold and leopard skin, and declared, "Let the boy Kweku step forward with his magical drum. Tonight, he must prove himself before the gods, or surrender it to me." Gasps spread through the crowd. Kweku, with trembling legs but steady heart, stepped forward, carrying the talking drum. The chief set 3 trials: summon the rain, call the birds, speak the truth of a liar. Kweku closed his eyes, and the drum whispered, "Do not fear, play with love." He played the first rhythm, and clouds gathered, spilling silver rain on the fields. The crowd gasped. He played the second rhythm, and birds of every color filled the sky, circling above like a living rainbow. Finally, he played the rhythm of truth. The drum's voice boomed, "Chief Abakanto, where's the gold you promised to the people?" The crowd turned, and the chief's face turned pale, for he had stolen the village's treasure for himself. The people roared with anger, but the chief only grew more dangerous. He swore to capture the boy and the drum, no matter the cost. The festival ended in chaos. The people whispered, "Kweku has the god's blessing." But Chief Abakanto's heart grew darker. That night, the chief visited a secret cave at the edge of the forest. There, a sorceress named Iyabo awaited him. Her eyes glowed like fireflies, her hair twisted like snakes. "Why do you trouble me, Abakanto?" she hissed. The chief bowed. "A boy has stolen the people's love with his drum. I must have it, or destroy him." Iyabo smiled wickedly. "The talking drum cannot be taken by force. But if you silence the boy's heart, the drum will fall silent too." She gave the chief a curse, a gourd filled with black smoke. "Release this in the boy's home. It will steal his mother's breath unless he gives up the drum." That night, as Kweku and his mother slept, the chief's guards broke into their hut and smashed the gourd. Smoke filled the room, and Kweku's mother gasped for air. Kweku rushed to the drum. "Please, help me save her," he cried. The drum whispered, there is only one cure. You must travel beyond the forest, across rivers and mountains, to the land of echoes. There lies the calabash of life. Only its water can heal her. Kweku wept, for it meant leaving his mother behind. But she touched his hand and whispered weakly, "Go, my son. The gods walk with you." And so, with heavy heart and the talking drum on his back, Kweku set out at dawn. The path to the land of echoes was filled with trials. First came the river of crocodiles. As Kweku reached the banks, the water churned with snapping jaws. He lifted his drum and played the rhythm of peace. The water grew calm, and the crocodiles sank beneath, allowing him to cross safely. Next came the mountain of whispers. Every step echoed with voices. "Turn back. Turn back, foolish boy. Your mother will die without you. You will never succeed." The voices pressed on his heart like stones. Kweku almost fell to his knees. But the drum whispered, "Play the rhythm of courage." He beat the drum, and the echoes turned into songs of encouragement. His legs grew strong again, and he climbed to the top. Finally, he entered the forest of night. Here no light could shine. Owls screeched, shadows slithered, and unseen spirits whispered. Kweku sat down, closed his eyes, and played softly. The drum's beat became a lantern of sound, pushing back the darkness. He walked through safely, and at last reached the land of echoes. At the center of the land of echoes was a shimmering lake. Floating on its surface was the calabash of life, glowing with golden light. But as Kweku reached for it, the waters parted, and from the depths rose a guardian spirit, half man, half serpent, crowned with shells and coral. "Who dares touch the calabash of life?" it roared. Kweku bowed. "My mother is dying. I seek only to heal her." The guardian's eyes narrowed. "Many come here with lies. Prove your heart is pure. Play me a rhythm that speaks truth." Kweku closed his eyes. He remembered his mother's lullabies, his father's hunting songs, the laughter of his village, and the pain of his journey. He poured it all into the drum. The beat rose like thunder, then softened like rain, then soared like birds in the sky. It was not just music, it was his heart. The guardian listened and smiled. "Your truth is strong. Take the calabash." Kweku filled a gourd with its water and bowed. But just as he turned to leave, a dark wind swept across the land. The chief had not been idle. With Iyabo's dark magic, he tracked Kweku to the land of echoes. As Kweku stepped out of the lake, the chief and his warriors surrounded him. "Hand me the drum, boy," the chief thundered. "You are nothing without it." Kweku held the drum close. "It chose me, and it will never obey you," Iyabo hissed. "Then you and your mother will die." She raised her staff, and shadows coiled like snakes. The chief's warriors charged. Kweku's heart pounded. "Drum, what do I do?" The drum whispered, "Play the rhythm of unity. Call upon all who have ever heard me." Kweku struck the drum. The sound echoed across rivers, mountains, and forests. And then they came. The crocodiles of the river rose to block the warriors. The birds of the sky swooped down, pecking at Iyabo's magic. The spirits of the forest stepped forward, glowing like fireflies. The land itself rose to protect Kweku. The chief fought fiercely, but every strike he made was met with the drum's rhythm. Finally, the drum thundered one last time, and Iyabo's staff shattered. The black smoke returned to her, swallowing her whole. The chief fell to his knees, powerless. Exhausted but victorious, Kweku returned home with the calabash of life. He poured its golden water over his mother's lips, and she awoke, smiling weakly. "My son, you have done what even kings could not." The villagers gathered. They saw how Kweku had faced rivers, mountains, spirits, and darkness in triumph. The elders declared, "Kweku is no longer just a boy. He is the keeper of the talking drum, the protector of our people." From that day on, whenever the village quarreled, whenever sickness spread, whenever storms threatened, Kweku would play, and the drum would speak, bringing peace and truth. But the drum's final words were these: "Remember, child, power is not in the drum. Power is in the hands that play it, and the heart that guides those hands." And so the legend of the talking drum spread across the lands, from one fire to another, from one generation to the next. Even today, if you listen closely on a quiet night, you may hear its echo, calling not just to Kweku, but to you. And